you guys here for the quest? Oh shit. Well, no? You guys wanna ask about the game? Huh? Alright. Hello guys. What's up?
Hello.
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 Do we introduce everyone? This
Yeah,
guy,
sure.
this is GhostNoroi. You've probably seen it in chat, yapping away. Say hello, Ghost. You here, Ghost?
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Sai, some of you know him. He's been a bit MIA recently, but he's been here on the playtest since early on. Say hello,
Hello,
Sai.
guys.
Nice, nice. Alright, here we have the main man himself, Ed. Wait, I should move my camera. Oh shit, look at those guns. Are you actually a nerd or what? Alright.
What's up, guys?
So where do you want to start at?
Let's read some questions, shall we?
Sure.
That's why we're here.
Oh yeah, the beautiful picture too.
So I got some questions from the question channel, which is like from Patreons. And what I was thinking is like I'm gonna read them first.
Yep.
And then I'll read one Patreon question, then I'll read one chat question, right?
Mm-hmm.
So make good questions and then read it, and I'll give some priority to the Patreon members because they paid.
Oh, so this game is pay to win?
It's pay to win.
Nice.
Pay to ask.
Just kidding, it's not pay to. So I'll start by the first question here. Right now, Seba asked, the only way to know where someone is able to kill monsters is literally to try and kill them, or we'll get some kind of icon next to the monster name or different colors, etc. I thought about this question, right? Because when we played Tibia, like a million years ago, and I think it still is like that, right? Monsters don't have any different appearance in the interface than players, right?
No, that's correct.
It's the same exact thing.
At least old school TV. I can't really speak for newer versions, but no, it's correct.
Yeah, I think the new versions are still like this.
Yeah.
So it was never something that bothered me. I think mainly because we just knew which monsters were which. It's like if you see a stalker, you're gonna be like, oh, that's a monster, right? If you see a hunter, you go, that's a monster. We just know that because we experienced in the game.
Exactly.
So I guess it's the same thought logic. It's like.
But I think you've done it well as well, because there's the size of the monster and sounds. Like sounds can be very telling too. Because a lot of the big monsters have like scary noises or whatever, loud noises even.
It created a certain dynamic in the game, which was like people were like, I don't know if you've ever got this era aches, which was like if you were in the global chat, in the trade chat, people would be like, oh, I'm getting attacked by a guy named Hunter.
yeah. No. That's a classic.
Hunter is killing me.
Yeah.
It's like the fuck, like it's a noob. We know it's a noob. So it never really bothered me, and I think it creates a dynamic where it's like if someone attacks you, it doesn't matter if it's a monster or a player, just attack back, vice versa.
I have a great story just on that front. There was a guy who made a character called Orc Berserker, and he does the spell that makes him look like an Orc Berserker with Rosina.
Yeah.
So he would run with Utanigran Hur after people, like at Warren Bridge, full speed, and they will just run. They turn around and they just full bolt it to the bridge, you know. So
that's cool. That's cool as fuck, dude. Yeah, we gotta add Utevo has Ina to Apogea. That would be cool too. I really want to do that. It's just like a meme spell, so it's not gonna be a priority. But you know, I think it's cool either way. So my answer to this question is like, sure, we can add it, but I want it to be in a way that it doesn't remove this specific aspect of the game, which is like it's a human. A human has the interface of a human, and an entity has an interface of an entity, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I give a little bit of difference to the NPCs.
You give them lines as well. Sometimes they say lines, usually like haha, whatever, or monks have like a line as well.
Exactly.
So there are tells.
All right. Is there any chat questions? Let's see. We want to know if the skills are like RuneScape with leveling. So this is the profession system. Like the profession system is. I have to go back a little bit to answer this question, because the way that I designed the game, I don't want Apogea to have actions that are repetitive, where you can create a bot and just leave the bot AFK and just gain a lot of things from that, right? So every single aspect of the game has a certain challenge to it, in a way that if I were to add a profession where you mine, where you grab a pickaxe and you smash against the rock, I want the rock to get up and smack you in the face. And I want you to dodge the rock abilities, and I want the rock to have a bunch of like summons and things like that. Because I don't like actions that you just repeat over and over, have no challenge at all, and you get a bunch of stuff out of that. I don't think that's video game. That's just like, why are you even doing that? I don't see a reason for that to exist.
But that's why someone mentioned mini games like
yeah, exactly. I understand the people that just want to relax. I totally get these people. Like someone said in the chat, like, I just want to chill. I just want to fish and chill.
Yeah, but
right?
fishing is also like a nice addition to the game, because food is kind of hard to get in the game, and sometimes you don't know the food combinations, and you eat the raw food like that, and you're starving. But then you take time off. You slow down the gameplay because you have to fish. You have to fix the food. So fishing is cool. Yeah. Maybe you can cut the wheat down too. I suggested this to you before.
So my plan is very simple. It goes something like this. Professions are going to rely on things that are either challenging or require action. Fishing is going to be like, you have to have a fishing rod in your backpack, and then there's going to be a specific item that you interact with that's spread around the map that uses the fishing rod where you can get fish. So it's kind of like a looting from containers in the map, which works right now in the game.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a little bit more elaborate, and it's going to give you a little bit of more visual feedback that you're fishing, quote unquote. And that's it. That's how professions are going to work. And you can improve your professions through quests. You're gonna have a quest that's directed to fishing, which some NPC asks you to get a really rare fish, like a fish that's you can only get in northern part of the map, right, in the ice part of the map.
Yeah,
and that's
cool.
going to give you one fishing point, and that's it.
Nice. All right, I have like 2 questions. First one is the most classic one, and what everyone asks when they enter the Discord. When is the next playtest going to be? Is there going to be one before the release?
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's just get that out of the way, I guess.
Yeah.
Here's the current problem that we have. The game has a lot of attention, and I really appreciate everyone tuning in right now, and I really read all of the feedback, all of the comments that you guys have been saying. I read all of it, even though it doesn't seem like it. I really actually do read everything. It's been killing my productivity, but I do read everything.
I can confirm. He's in my stream all the time.
The thing is that with that kind of attention, the current game cannot support the demand, right? So the map is way too small. The spawns are way too packed with people all the time, and the loot's way too scarce. It creates a toxic environment where people are fighting for resources way too hard, way more than we intended. The map is supposed to hold around 300 people, and there's like 600 of you guys online. So
already there you answer another question too about the spawns. So perfect.
What we need to do is, for the next test, we need to be ready for that.
Yeah.
Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to focus on making maps and improving the overall experience of the game so that you guys can enjoy that better. I don't know how long that's going to take. It could take 2 months. It could take 3 months. We're really fast. We're really good at getting content out. So I don't know. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I would guess it's something like 1 to 2 months. And up until then, we're going to tease a lot of content so that it's not too mean, right? We close the gates and then we never talk about it. Like, I don't want that to be the case. I want you guys to have a little bit of a taste of the new things that are coming. We're already working in the next areas, the northern area, the south area. We're expanding that and fixing that. We're expanding the swamp. So we're going to do that. I'm going to fix some systems. We're going to improve a little bit of the optimization in the client. We're going to fix some balancing issues. And then we're going to open the test again to make sure that there are no bugs and we can stress test the servers.
Perfect.
Implementing an item linking system in chat similar to World of Warcraft, players can hover there. Yeah, that's in our public Trello. You can go on the Discord. Go on roadmap. You're gonna find the public Trello. On the public Trello, we have everything that's been listed to do, and the item look link is right there. It's one of the features that are planned. Are there any plans for reworks of the current spawns to add more depth in Rune hunting, similar to Tibia spawns, work rotation loops? Example. So this is a slightly different question from will you expand the map. What he's talking about is like
the route.
Are we gonna make the map in a way where you can just walk around in circles and kill the same thing over and over in a very specific manner? That's like the classic Tibia spawn, right? And the answer is yes and no. I think the way that I map, the way that I design the game is I like to tell a story, right? I tell a story in every single part of the map. Something happened there, right? If you go to the northeast of the plains, you're gonna see a bunch of like mud and wood just like scattered around, like something fell there, and that's exactly what happened. It used to be a light tower, and the light tower fell over, and there's a cave troll there, and the cave troll knocked down the light tower. So that's the way I make maps. The way I make maps is I tell a story, and sometimes that story that I'm telling makes for a great spawn. So I'm not going to focus on that. I'm never going to focus on you having good hunting experience. I'm going to focus on you having good environmental storytelling and a rich world where you can understand the things that are happening rather than focusing on how great a spawn is for hunting. Of course, I'm not going to do the opposite where it's like I'm going to make every single hunting spot terrible for you to be at. But I like the way that old Tibia maps were designed where this was the case, right?
Yeah,
like you could
sometimes you even have to wait for respawn.
Down a hole and the hole had a story, right? What did you say, Ike? Sorry.
Sometimes you even had to wait for good respawns. Like warlocks would. It was also dependent on like the player population, like how fast the respawn was. So they have like a progressive spawn rate, and sometimes you slow pop. You just had to wait for a spawn, but it's still worth it because of the loot and XP you would get from the spawn and how hard it would be to get there.
Like an example of this is like mint walling in Tibia, right?
Yes.
It's like you're telling a story. The Minotaurs were tired of living on the surface, and they were like, okay, we're going to dig down and we're going to build a city on the ground. And then we're going to farm there and we're going to have a population. And that's mint walling. That's mint walling in Tibia. And I like to think that that's the way I map things. It's like I'm going to tell a little story about a place that like something happened here. And then I build the thing, and then there are creatures there, there are quests, there are secrets, there are NPCs, etc. etc. When you hit a giant rat for 30 damage, it makes a different sound. Can we get more interactions like that? The reason why you get a different sound is because you stunned the giant rat. And you only do that when you deal 15% of the creature's total HP. So yeah, you can get more of that. You just have to have a lot of damage. When the game launches, will we still need to create an account, or will it be linked to our Steam account? You still need to create an account. We're probably wiping everything. I'm not entirely sure, by the way. I have to check with Bruno to see if he's going to wipe all the accounts. But don't expect things to be the same way that it is right now, because we're still on test phase.
When creating Magic Arrow, will you renew the active ones instead of making another stack? Because people rather want the current stack they have renewed than making a new. So it only creates a new stack, when you don't have one, but otherwise it just refreshes the existing one.
Because that's an idea.
Yeah. I meant it wasn't more of a suggestion than a question, but I think that was a good change actually, because I played a bit of a ranger rogue, so.
Yeah, the idea behind the magic arrows were like, I don't want you guys to sit in the depot making arrows.
Yeah, I understand. I remember.
I just don't want that. I think it's.
It used to be the Tibia Conjure Arrow.
Yeah. And then it's like you're sitting in the depot all day spamming Evoke Saga, and it's like, yeah.
I can ask my own question.
Cool and all, but I saw bots during the test.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, yeah, I have to change this.
Are you gonna change the arrow prices?
The prices?
It's 1 by 1. You think it's fine? Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's fine.
1 by 1. Nah. I want 5 arrows for 1 gold. I want a stack.
Let me read a Patreon question here. One of the most discussed topics among players during the last test was loot stealing. Do you plan on keep the system as it is today, intend to change it? If you plan to keep the system, do you consider offering features? Yeah, I already answered this on the roadmap, which is like, we're gonna change the way looting works. There's gonna be some loot protection. I'm not gonna go into too much detail how it works. But the PvP flagged, like if you flag your PvP, you turn on a PvP, you're gonna be able to bypass the system. The way that it works is like, let's say you have PvP off and you're hunting, and then another player with the PvP off attacks your monster. He's not going to be able to steal your loot. The loot's going to be protected, right? Because you dealt more damage, you did more hits, or you were there first. A bunch of factors we're going to take into account. But if that player has PvP on, he can steal your loot. What you can do to fight back is turn on your PvP as well and kill him.
I have a counter question though. Right now you can only activate PvP in safe zones, EPZ. So is that gonna change then? Will there be like a prompt? Okay, so you have to go into the PC, put it on, and then go for him.
You have to go on PC, turn on your PvP, and come back to the hunt and kill him. It's not that much of a hassle.
Will the player who loots your bag, will he get a like PC lock then, as soon as he does it, like a 5-minute trigger?
That's an idea. We can also look into making PvP swap worky outside of PZ. I don't know.
What my suggestion is, either if he loots it, like blah 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 is looting your loot, would you like to activate PvP? Like that?
Yeah.
That would be like still a hindrance to like activating PvP anywhere, but just because of the conflict happening.
The way I see working like for Rio in the game is like, okay, I don't like to have my loot stolen, so I'll turn on PvP in advance and then go hunt. You'll be vulnerable in certain ways, but you'll be more protected in others. Right?
Yeah.
Next question. Let's get a chat question.
All right. I can take one here. Will there be PvP zones?
We plan on doing that, but we kind of stepped back on the idea because it was a mechanic that we didn't really put a lot of thought in. So the answer is neither yes or no. We're thinking about it. We need to understand the impact that's going to have in the game. And the way I see it is a lot of non-PvP players, and they're like a silent majority. They don't really care for that too much.
No.
Right? It's like, oh, this part of the map here, you can't go there.
Yeah.
That's how it sounds to them.
Of course.
Right? We need to think about it, because if we're going to make an entire zone, and I don't know how big that is going to be, just for a certain group of people, we need to make sure that the people who don't want to go there are not missing too much.
Yeah.
And then that makes the zone kind of lame. We need to think about it. We need to give it some thought.
I think what you said about like increasing the frequency of Blood Moon is really good. That will warn PvP players, and they can take like, it has to be a balance between both worlds, right? A few like Blood Moons each day for PvPers to like roam or get some benefits for a short period of time is perfect, because people can just log out or go into PC zone for a couple of minutes and it's over.
Yeah.
That's like
about looting, some guys were using macro to loot automatically, and it's not a rumor. I actually know the guy who did it, and he streamed the process on Apogea's Discord. You guys were preparing something to counter it? Yes, we are. I'm gonna add an option to auto loot when you open a container. And the way it's gonna work is, you can't really macro loot without opening the container, because that's server verified. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it so that you can toggle that in client, and that's it. Do you plan to divide the game into servers? If so, how many players do you expect per server? 1,000 players per server. That's our goal. That's how much the map is going to be able to support without being insufferable. And we're gonna have one server per region, per main region. It's based on demand. Right now the demand is Europe, North America, and South America. That's the player base that we've seen logging into the game, and that's where we're gonna open the first servers. We're not entirely sure yet about PvP enforced servers. I think we need to make some kind of polling or some kind of goal to make that happen, because I don't see a lot of demand for it. I see some demand, but I don't see a lot of demand. What nerfs or buffs are we expected to see in future tests? It's not going to be buffing or nerfing. I think the next test is going to be a little bit of an overhaul. I want to make the trait tree a little better. I think I kind of rushed that a little bit because I just wanted to get the test online. And I'm going to restructure it a little bit to make it better and more balanced in general.
The bow tree?
I don't plan to mess too much with items and classes. I think I've done enough. The sword nerfs were a bit too harsh in my opinion, but I plan to counter that with a better trait tree. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that all of the builds that people were doing are viable, not too crazy. And then I'm going to get the approval of the top players, like people like Aches, I think has a lot of authority in that case. Like people like Jamal have a lot of authority. Like the top players in the server, they know what they're talking. They know how things work. So I'm gonna get their approval first before I make final changes. Right?
Will there be other types of weapons such as axes, spears, and maces? And so will there be differences between them?
Yes, we're adding axes right now for the game. They're in the game already, but I didn't allow you to have them.
All right, spoilers. What size?
They're gonna be big. They're gonna be very big. They're gonna be like two-handed swords, but you're probably not going to be able to use offhands with them. You're going to be have to use gloves.
Oh, nice.
And the main difference is going to be like, attack speed and range, and it's like small differences, quote unquote. But I still need to figure out a smart way to make the trait tree interact with that type of weapon. Because right now I just made it for swords, right? It's like everything is related to sword. So I need to figure out how to make that work with axes as well. Or should I make a special tree for axes or something like that?
And we have size 3 shields, so mace and a spear. Possibilities are there, but you have to cook with the trait. You gotta let this man cook, alright, guys? Stop harassing him about the test. It's gonna be glorious.
After playing for the first time, I know we just talked about balance, but it seems trying to be anything but a knight. The early parts of the game are just not feasible. Okay, I can talk about this. Knights are the only class that don't have any resource spending when hunting. You don't spend resources naturally. So you're not spending arrows, you're not spending mana to shoot, and you don't need to heal that much because your armor kind of covers it up a little bit. I just saw a comment about my cup. I'm sorry. It's like a pickle cup. It's where you get pickles.
That's really cool. I need one of those. I think we have some, but I don't use them.
And knights are like they're gonna be naturally the class that generates wealth. And that's the thing. I like that. I like that because that's how it used to be in Tibia. Honestly, it creates an interesting balance because I think knights need to be a little bit of, tank knights, right? Need to be a little bit of low risk, low reward.
Yeah.
Right now, it's low risk, high reward. So I need to fix that, right? I need to make it so that knights are not the absolute best class you can go. You're gonna deal a shit ton of damage and not die. It needs to be you're like safer from death than other classes, but you don't deal as much damage, and you not excel too much unless you go warrior, right? You go full damage, two-handed sword, and then you take a lot of damage, etc., etc. So I need to balance that part, in my opinion. Would like to know if there are long-term plans for dev after release, expansion systems, and what could be added later on. Yeah, sure. That's a topic that I think every MMORPG should cover because it's very common. Like you guys have been there, right? You play an MMORPG, it's great, it's 10 out of 10, and then a month goes by, 2 months go by, 3 months go by, 4 months go by, and nothing happens. There's no patches, no updates. Developers like on the beach drinking coconut water, and they kind of like left the game to rot. And I don't like that. I've been there, right? I'm a MMORPG player before anything else. And what I plan to do is develop a lot of content before launching the game. And then after we develop a lot of content, we're gonna open the servers, and then we're gonna release this content slowly. That's the way that I see Apogea going. We're going to make a lot of content, and then we're gonna revise it and make sure that it always fits into place, and then we're gonna slowly release it to the public.
I have 2 chat questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you happy with the current power level increase of items between rarity? For example, some white items got no benefit besides less OZ when upgraded to green.
No, I'm not. I thought I fixed this actually. Because I forced it. I forced the algorithm to be like, oh, this was 1 defense.
Yeah.
Now it's 2 when it's uncommon. I coded that myself. But for some reason it didn't work properly.
Okay. No,
so I'm gonna revise that, make sure that it works properly with all items. I don't know why some items don't work.
Okay. Yeah, I've mentioned the dagger, right?
Like the dagger works properly, I think.
Okay. I might have just been wrong there.
It works properly. Like common is 3, uncommon is 4, rare is 5.
Yeah, I think it was more the bone dagger because the attack on the rarity didn't change from white.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with like stats that are really low.
Okay.
They scale better than stats that are really high. I think stats that are high, they get multiplied rather than added.
Okay, cool. Okay. So are you planning to make skill and talent tree a scaling cost? This is with premium, so that people can experiment and change as they progress. 500 gold is way too much for new players learning the game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The way that we plan to do it is like, it's gonna cost more money depending on the economy of the server.
Okay.
So once gold in Apogea becomes inflated, or if it does become inflated, then the prices go up.
Okay.
Right. But in the very beginning, it's going to be very low cost.
Okay.
It's gonna work almost like the real money, real world money. It's like in the very beginning, as soon as we launch, it's gonna be super cheap, right? You can buy a lot of resets, you can buy a lot of stuff. Once money becomes more available in general, then the prices will start going up, so that it doesn't get abusable in a sense, and we'll take control of that. We're probably going to make that automatic so that there's no mistake there. But I would do manual revisions every now and then. You guys know how I operate, right? I'm always keeping an eye on everything. It's a matter of going like, this shit's too expensive, and then I'll go there and fix, right?
Yeah, someone said, wouldn't that be bad for new players though? And I was like, I mean, maybe we can have something for level 15 and below that it's like static for them, so they can experiment. Like,
why would that be bad for new players?
No, like if the economy becomes like inflated and the price is like dependent on that, new players will have to pay like if they premium, they have to pay like a big sum to get traits. That's kind of what I'm saying. Maybe there should be like a roof up to level 10 that you can skill for a slighter cost, and after that, like you can buy a limited amount, maybe 10. Because otherwise you can abuse that. Because you can abuse that, like if you buy a lot of them at low level and just feed someone, you can just buy cheap ones. So there has to be something like in between, maybe.
Yeah, I'm thinking if it's actually really a problem. Like if you're a new player and you're playing on an inflated money world, it's probably going to be easier to get money. But
you can also buy it in the
shop. We can look into that. Like sure, like it makes sense.
You could probably have like new beginner bundles, and you buy like a pack of something.
Yeah, something like that. That makes sense. Like you can buy only once, right? Like you can buy one
exactly.
bundle.
Welcome.
It costs X gold. Yeah, that's a good idea.
A worthy package. Yeah.
That's nice. I like that. Good. Which pieces of feedback are being considered the most, and what aspects of the game remain despite feedback in preservation of the team's initial vision? So that's a really good question. Like I've said this a bunch of times, right? I've said it everywhere. I've said it in the Discord, I've said it in the Steam forums, I've said it on my streams, I've said it on other people's streams. I made Apogea because I wanted to play a good MMORPG, and I don't think there are good ones out there, because I like to play MMORPGs, and I don't like to play the MMORPGs that are out there right now, because they're either pay to win, they're either like, oh, whip up your wallet and buy the best items and buy a literal character and then have fun, just kill random monsters. Like, I don't like that shit. That thing pisses me off. Or they're like super amateur and they don't know what they're doing, and they're like tripping over themselves because they have no experience with game development at all. So I decided to be the difference I want to see in the world. So the reason why I made Apogea is because I want to play a good game. As much as I want to make the company work, and I want to pay all the developers, and I want to have a future in game development and continue to develop the game and make it good, my intentions are true. They're not monetary driven. They're driven by making a good game.
There's a vision.
Yeah.
There's passion.
It is a literal vision.
Yeah.
It's like I miss old Tibia. I miss the games that I played when I was a teenager, right? I played like games like Requiem or Nine Dragons, and they were not really that great of games, but I liked them, and they had systems that were good. They were hard. They punished you. They weren't afraid of losing a player, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think modern developers are way too scared of losing their player base, of being like, someone says, "Oh, the game is too hard." Like, boo-hoo! I don't care.
But it's profit revenue driven. The gaming industry has kind of become a huge part of that. A lot of it's like driven by CEOs and profits. So that's why it's so refreshing with indie games. So the indie industry is pretty good today, I would say.
Yeah, exactly. Because my motivations is not profit wise.
Yeah.
Right. They're not. I'm fine in that sense.
Exactly.
And like I said, I can fund Apogea to the end. I can do it by myself. We didn't do a Kickstarter. We didn't do any kind of crowdfunding to make the game happen. I just did it myself because I felt like it.
Yeah.
So
and the community,
my vision is that.
And the community even said, "Bro, open a Patreon. We want to support you and shit." And shit. It's not needed, but like then people come in and like say, "Oh, you have to pay for Patreon stuff." Like it was like basically the people who played then came up with a suggestion and voted for this thing. So, but yeah, like I've told you about it before. Like I had like a proof of concept too about like game with my friends, and we were like, "Fuck, maybe we should do one just for fun because we have like ideas." But and then I found your game, and I was so happy. I'm really passionate about the game, and it's been so fun so far.
That's cool. But I think video games needs to be exactly how you just described. It needs to be like, let's just do this because.
But all the classics are like that. Before it just people invested in it and made it into a business. Sadly, I mean that's how it works. So, money talks.
So yeah, exactly. That's my vision. That's it. That's my vision. It's not gonna change. The only way that this could ever change is if someone assassinate me, and please don't do that. I like to live. I'm stating to the camera.
Come on, guys.
I love living. if it pops up in the news like, oh, he killed himself. No, I didn't.
He can spawn in loot. Come on, guys. Just leave him alone.
How much deeper at all do you plan on character progression customization in comparison to what we've seen so far? It's not gonna be too deep. It's gonna be outfits, just like in Tibia. Outfits. You swap your outfits, and really good players who have really cool outfits. That's the progression. We do plan on adding a lot of variety for weapons, which is different, right? Like you're gonna be able to see other people's weapons. Like if he's holding an axe, you can see the axe. If he's holding a sword, you're gonna see the sword. When you swap a certain outfit, the sword changes, right? I don't know if any of you noticed that.
I've seen
but
the club.
That's the plan that we have.
Yeah, you have a sword equipped, but it's in the squire outfit. It's a club.
It's a club, exactly. Like that's our plan. That's how it's gonna go. Like Squire level 2 is gonna have a different kind of club. It's gonna have some spikes on it, and that's it. That's how the progression is gonna work because that's how we work in Tibia, and I thought it was really cool. I don't like customization. For example, how they did in Guild Wars 2, which is like, I don't know where did you get that outfit? Did you buy it on the store? Was it a credit card outfit or is it a prestige outfit? Like, how did you do that? I have no idea. I don't know, right? In Tibia now it is like that as well. It's like you see a guy walking around, he has a crow on his shoulder and he's holding a staff, and I'm like, I have no idea how he got that. Did he get it to a store? And then I go into the store and then, yeah, he did. That outfit was $20.
I put some
that. I don't like that.
We were discussing and suggesting stuff like rare boss loot, like Pestilence Sword, for example. If you make a quest to make that like applicable to your character and later on, like the cool
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. We thought about doing that. Like if you equipped, for example, a serpent sword, which is an item that exists in the game, it's gonna show the serpent sword. That's actually something that we have in mind. Like ultra rare items are gonna have specific visuals. But let me just read one more point because this is a 4-part question from this guy.
Okay.
I'm gonna reward him because this is how I want people to do it. What is your plan in the event that the game has immense critical success one day of the launch? Are you ready to be prepared to accommodate possible tens of thousands of players? Yes, we have 11 years of experience in game development. We've made multiple online games. We know a lot about this. We know a lot about servers. We know a lot about everything that comes to do with online games.
Infrastructure,
yeah. I've made a game called Royal Age. I've made a game called Old Age. I've made a game... I've made a bunch of web games. I made a bunch of mobile games. It's what we do. And Apogea is no different. It's yet another project, but it has a bigger scale. And we're ready for it. We're 100% ready for it. I'm not going to say like it's going to be flawless because I don't think it can ever be flawless. But look at the tests. Look at how they went. How many of you had connection issues? It was like, what, 5%? It was like, oh, I lagged. I spiked. My internet spiked. It's like,
I can only notice lag once on bone eaters. That's pretty much it. And I'm not sure if it was some routing issue. Like routing issues is something like you can't do anything about.
We're running a really cheap server on NA. We spent a lot of time making the prediction systems, right, for the movement. So I mean, we're ready. We just need more servers, which isn't an easy thing to do, but that's what we're gonna do. And we need more. We need better systems to accommodate that. and that's about it.
Yeah. Will you make like a sneak type of function, so you lower the aggro range if you want to sneak around mobs, or will it just be you get in a range, or will there be some sort of sneak that you can like sneak past monsters?
I like that suggestion, I really do, but we need to see if this is even possible in the first place. I think it is actually. The recent auto attack changed based on the angle of your character. So I already have the angle implemented and it works. Now I just need to use it for more stuff. So maybe that can happen. Like maybe there are some creatures who have better vision than others. Like the cave troll is like stupid and it doesn't really see if you're behind him. But the goblin has like really good vision and it's gonna see you independently. That is a really cool idea. It's so funny. Every time you lower your head, it's like there's a gigantic poop in the camera.
This is the druid head, bro.
Druid head. Yeah.
Attacking. You will add an option so that you can decide when to attack by just stopping movement.
We're gonna add that.
Great.
It's a really shit, wait. I almost did some stupid stuff.
Game almost deleted. Almost in the bin.
We're gonna add it. It's not an easy thing to add, but we're gonna add it. Like the way we're gonna do is it wasn't you who suggested
it was. And I can elaborate on it. Like should I elaborate a little bit? Like what I mean? Maybe because I know a lot of people...
I remember that. You suggested like to add it on the battle list.
Yeah, no, but what I did, so in the game when you auto attack, you get animation locked for a short period of time, right? So I always want to be able to like decide. I can like, because there's attack patterns to different monsters, so I can kind of read them after a while. I get accustomed to them, and I can learn like how to fight certain monsters because of their patterns. So I just want to stop move as soon as they do a certain attack or certain move, and like decide like that way. Because even if I like sometimes turn around or dance around and waiting for it, it will auto attack because I turn around because I'm just clicking like on the keyboard. I just want to be able to decide that myself. So that's like my thought pattern on it. I just want to stop move and then want to shoot.
Yeah, I understand.
It's possible to do it now. You can stop attack. You can bind stop attack and just attack. So there is bypasses on it already.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a toggle option on the battle list that goes like never attack while moving. Right? That's what you want.
Yeah.
Never attack while moving.
Exactly.
So you only attack when you stop. That's it.
Yeah, sounds perfect.
Yeah, I can do that.
And that's probably also a thing. Another point is like in PvP, if you're a rogue or a knight, any melee kind of character, and you chase someone, you would have to take them off attack. But like if you reach them and you attack, then you like get the animation lock. Sometimes you just want to keep running, like harassing them and run past them if they go slow, like so.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you have a solution for prevent bag dragging looting, for example, a lock, temporary lock, or do you want to keep that in the game so you can actually fight for the loot bag?
I don't understand the question.
So right now, if you kill a monster, there's a loot bag dropped, right? So now you can just push it away and loot. Or do you intend to have it like stuck in place? Do you have any like plans of having it stuck where the mob drops?
I'm gonna add the auto loot first of all. Yeah. And then I'm gonna add a toggle for ignoring players.
Yeah, but so you will still be able to move the bag, right?
Yeah, you can still move the bag. Yes. Okay. So you can toggle like you can hold either Alt or Shift, and then it's gonna make all the players transparent, and you can drag the bag from under their feet.
Okay. Yeah. So you're gonna still fight about the loot, yeah.
Yeah, you can still steal loot when it's under something or someone. I don't want to remove that from the game. I know a lot of people don't like it. But I think it's just part of the game. It's
I mean, it was like that in Tibia too, yeah. There is that
and
part
about Anvil, like, let's just talk about this, like the Anvil and the cooking and the forge, right? Like, what I wanted to do was, I'm either going to make a safe system for it, like the trade, or I'm going to make it so that there's a place like the depot, where every time you go into the designated space, it blocks your entrance. So it's like, you can have an individual forge for yourself.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I plan to do. Either that or a save system. I have to think which one is easier or simpler to implement. Lexicat asked the question, are there plans to rebalance PvP penalties to make PvP more engaging, such as gaining XP from the player you killed, or leeching the XP, or moving, losing, equipping gear, and making a player lose random items inside their bag? I like the risk versus reward. Just seems like insane risk for very little reward, and I'm an Albion player. Yes and no. I think right now, PvP needs to be a play style. You need to get used to it. But I do have a plan, and I don't know what any of you think about this. I haven't told anyone about this either, which is like when you toggle PvP, your loot gear actually has zero. Like this is a change that I would do, right? It's not like this right now, but it's a change I will make, which is like when you toggle PvP, your loot drop chance is actually 0%. And then when you kill a player, it goes up by 10. So if you kill 3 people, your skull changes to a new color and it becomes 30%. And if you kill like 5, it becomes 100% and your skull goes like black or something. So it's kind of similar to the skull system that old school games had. It's a bit more in the sense like, oh, you're doing crime, so you get a bit more punished than others who just want to have PvP toggled on for defense reasons, right?
Yeah.
I hope this answers the question, Alexi. Are any plans on adding summoning spells? Yes, I want to summon a pet rat. I want to add summon spells. I want to do it a lot. I'm gonna add probably a necromancer spell for the embracing darkness trait. That's gonna be the first one. I don't know about other ones, but I'm adding a summon thing. It's not easy, but I'm adding. Are there any plans to rebalance missions? I mean, both experience and loot rewards. Yes, absolutely. When I was playing solo, I was like, oh, this quest is way too OP. And I did another quest and I was like, wait, this quest was terrible. Like, it was ass. Like, I did the Mary quest and it was terrible. Like, why would you even do that? Right? So I have to rework that and make it better. Absolutely, 100%.
Will you have some kind of player market for real money, like sell or buy characters or items in game from other players? How will you enforce or how will you allow it?
The current rule in the Discord is no, nuh-uh. Like we're not gonna support it. So but the way that it works, here's how I see it. It's a bit confusing to understand, but I am not 100% against it. I think if you have a character, you kind of own that character and you can do whatever you want with it. But the game and the Discord do not support you marketing that. So you can't announce it in the Discord, hey, I'm selling a character, because I can't control that transaction. I can't go like, hey, did the transaction go well? Like, did he steal it from you? So I can't allow it to happen in the Discord. What is going to happen is if you want to sell a character and you want to do it outside of the Discord, and you're the kind of guy who buys a character and you get stolen because you did it on a black market, then that's on you. Yeah. Right? It's not on us. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to allow it to happen in game with the support of the developers, with the support of Apogea, because I think that's pay to win. And I don't like pay to win. No. I don't like that. I don't like exchanging money for power. Mm-hmm. That's lame. So yeah, no, I'm not allowing it. And I don't think that it's a good idea for the health of a video game.
Yeah, exactly. That's like the pay to win aspect outside of you making any money on it as well.
It's exactly. And it's like, oh, let's just add support on them. Just make a website where you can trade characters.
No. But I know there's like a Tibia OTI play, and there's like markets, and there's scams constantly. But it's like there is a market for characters and gold, and it is a thing.
Oh wow, you're so dedicated in the game. What did you do? Oh, I spent $200. That's what I did.
Yeah, but that is kind of. I mean, it happens in every MMO. Like.
It's gonna happen, but. What we do is we don't incentivize it.
No, exactly. Like, that's a really good solution. Like that's a good thing to do. Yeah. And then sure, people can mess around. It's not fair. Yeah, exactly. It's never fair, but it's also
I can't
life isn't fair. Like some people are born millionaires. Like
question: going to keep one-way entries as they are right now, no warning whatsoever, and you have to learn the hard way. Yes and no. I think there are some places where you probably didn't realize that there was a warning right before it. Usually I put a warning, and if there's no warning, you're gonna be able to see the creature, and if there's nothing, you have to send me a screenshot so I can fix it, because that's how I intend the map to be. I'm also going to change some things. I think one-way doors and one-way staircases are a little unfair, so I need to give you some indication that that's gonna happen. I'm probably making a different texture, a different sprite, or a different model for things that you can only go down and you can only go one way. So you think twice before doing that, right? That's the intention.
Yeah, the little cues, the little tells on.
Exactly. there is some chance that the houses will be per instance, since the available quantity is considerably small. If there is a massive quantity of players, it doesn't have to be all of them, just the small ones. So here's the thing: I think that houses need to be a privilege in the game. I do actually believe that. I think it should be a thing of the rich, so to speak. So the way I see it is like, well, what we do is we adjust the prices of the houses so that only the top percent of players can afford them. And then what they will do is they're gonna make guilds work around the houses, because that's how the houses work, right? When you invite someone in the house, they become part of a guild. They get their name, their house name under the description. That's the system I want to incentivize. I want houses to be a privileged spot where you can get invited in as a pleb, quote unquote, and be part of a big guild that provides for a big quantity of players, and it generates a sort of like a mechanic of its own where houses have a lot of value, right?
Yeah.
And in order for it to be like, oh, there's still houses available in the game, it's because of the price and it's because of the lack of money, and it also needs to be a gold sink. So I don't want to make house instances. I don't like instances at all. I think they completely break immersion in a way that is a deal breaker for me. I don't know about you guys, but to me, it's a deal breaker.
No, we discussed about sharding and stuff, and a lot of people are like, nah, it doesn't work. It destroys the soul of the game or the server.
Exactly. Like. It removes the social aspect of the game. I want you to struggle. I want you to talk to people. I want you to be like, hey, can you help me? Hey, I need, like, can you invite me to your house?
That was like
please?
my answer. It's a social MMORPG, like you're relying on other things.
I want that to happen, and for in order for it to happen, there needs to be some struggle. There needs to be more players than houses, because then houses will be a privileged thing, and it's going to be something that you strive to have, and that's it. Is there a plan to add random implicit stats to items as a random drop from mobs, like as Iron Sword has +1 ability? Yes, there is. That's the rune system that we're making. The rune system is exactly how you described. It's a drop that you get from monsters that you can attach to your weapon or armor, and that's gonna give you some stats.
I just want to go back a little bit to the housing thing. Just a question from me: are there gonna be fat mansions, guild halls? Very costly.
What I really wanted to do is make it so that it is possible for you to invite players in rooms, right?
Yeah.
It's like, players can go into this room, but they can't go into this room. I think that would solve a lot of issues that you can have. But you know me, me, dog. Like I like simple systems.
No, but I don't care. Like, still a big guild hall with rooms and things, and you have a guild. Like, the aspect of also being thieved is also part of the drama, the community. Like, there should be invites fighting. Like, someone should be sneaking in and stealing the stuff, and people were gonna like, who the fuck took this? And there is supposed to be a lot of like history, bad blood.
Yeah.
That kind of makes.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna separate houses into a bunch of rooms. And then, this guy's invited to this room, but he's not invited to this one, and then so on and so forth. And some houses are better for guilds than others.
Yeah, of course.
Some houses are like, it's like a tiny little house. It's
but
not the best.
you are not planning on making like distinct between houses and guild halls, for example?
No. Nothing really changes except for the size.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay. But it's just the price and size, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's gonna be like a progressive price with every square meter of the house, basically.
Yeah. Exactly. That's how it already works. Like the houses, the price is calculated per square meter.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember, I had the biggest house in Basil, the first playtest. The one I said you refused to put another door when it was like you had to go up the stairs, up to the other floor, and then down.
Any plans on changes to blade spells? I love that you can choose between mana and health, but it feels terrible when you have 90% of mana and 100% of the health. I've heard this complaint a lot, but I still think that this is a skill issue. Am I wrong? You guys can tell me I'm wrong. I don't play Knight a lot. So when you say, I didn't see my mana, I didn't see that I didn't have enough mana and I lost it. You didn't like skill issue. I don't understand.
I have a great question.
Yes, you are wrong. Okay. Tell me why. Feels clunky. A little bit, yeah. I guess that's the life of a Knight. a little clunky. You're not wrong, okay? A spell shouldn't spend the mana if you spend the life. Why not? I have to wait until I have more mana, otherwise I use health and mana. Shouldn't it be like, look, when I was playing Knight, here's what I did. I had at least one mana item, like a silver ring or a silver amulet, right? And then I put some points into mana so that I have like around 50 mana, right? So then when I had like 20 mana and I was gonna berserk and I was gonna spend HP and mana, I potted. The first tick brought me up to 50 so I could berserk, and then the next ticks just filled up my mana. So kind of like a combination of stat and skill issue. I don't know. Sure, I'll look into it, man. I'll buff knights. Everything comes down to this. Can you buff knight?
I'm afraid to ask for buffs from mages. I mean, you just look at me and you nerf mage. Will there be some kind of guild versus guild wars? Like, will there be anything to incentivize that, like dominance of some territory?
How did it work in old school Tibia?
I mean, basically, someone disrespected you and your guild would attack someone. Yeah, exactly.
That's what I want.
Yeah, but also there's the difference there. So would we rely on Blood Moon, for example, or would you just like would you let one team like just go PP activated and invite the other team to do something if they dare, like harass them?
I think on non-PvP servers, Blood Moon, and then on enforced PvP servers all the time. But a faction system might be better.
Yeah.
Might come into play, right? Oh, this guy's from this faction, so we can attack him and vice versa. But I'm still thinking about this. The way I see it is like there needs to be some bigger incentive for wars to happen. But I love emergent design, emergent mechanics. I like when mechanics pop up from other mechanics. And I can't force it too much or else I'll suck the fun out of it. It's super delicate and it's super like annoying to deal with these things, because if you just dug out the path that the player needs to go into, like, oh, this is where you should walk, player. Chances are you did that for no reason. The player is gonna cut through the grass instead of going to the path you made. So you have to be careful when you do things like this. Like, oh, you're supposed to fight guilds. It's like, no, like, well, let's wait for conflict to actually happen. People want to actually really kill each other for the mechanic to shine, right? I really do believe that. But we have to see. We have to wait and see. I had a big impression that it was already happening in the tests. There was a very clear dispute going on between different guilds. At least I saw that. I'm not sure if I'm...
No. It's very common. It was very common. Like, the first server I played on Tibia was Lunara, for example, and there was... they're quite notorious, leeches of archery. So they would actually charge people for using a hunt spot. They would take 10k a month for people to enter Cyclopolis, for an example.
No, I mean in Apogea.
Yeah, but I'm saying you can do things. I'm just taking like parallels. That's the only thing.
But I saw in Apogea, I was like, I just saw a guild fighting another guild.
Oh no, okay, I didn't notice that. I had a good 3 versus 3 against some against King.
It seemed to be based on country.
Yeah, of course. Like, that's always it. Polacks fight the Swedes fight whatever.
Yeah.
And sometimes you go on NA and you fight Americans and Brazilians too. But there's a lot of mixed teams. I'm playing, like, the TBO I play on is 95% Polish. All I hear every time I'm on TeamSpeak is kurwa, you know. So,
yeah.
What are the plans? What type of server types? Because you talked about premium servers too. Are you gonna do everything of that at once? So are they gonna be like...
No. I kind of laid the ground for that. Look, here's how we plan to launch, right? SA, so South America, NA, North America, Europe. We're gonna try for like German servers, so that's like sort of in the center of Europe. And then we'll do a premium version of these servers, and then we'll do some sort of I don't know. There needs to be some goal for the PvP server to happen. We launch with premium servers and normal, so free for all servers, and then we'll make a little goal to have a PvP enforced server, because we need to see if there's actual real demand. No. Or we do this before launch so that we know that there's a demand.
Yeah, exactly. There is like, you can take polls and see how it divides, but I think you can probably pull off a good balance between like pleasing both sides of PvPers and PvEers on same server. I think it's possible, you know? There will always be someone, oh, I just want to hit this mob all the time. I just like the aspect of, there should always be a threat to like playing in an open MMO. You can play safe, there are safe zones. You just have to account for the PvP that can happen. The griefing and the harassment will happen regardless if you play PvP or PvE, because a high level can come and tag your mobs on the PvE servers, for example, and steal a loot or whatever. Like, you can still be obnoxious and toxic on non-PvP servers. I had a kind of an argument or a discussion with some people yesterday about the said thing.
There's some people that when they play PvP servers, they don't like it because it removes agency. Right? Yeah. I'm not one of them. I couldn't care less. Yeah. But I know people who are like this. They think, okay, like I don't want to play in a server where I can die at any time without doing anything.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel them. The way I designed the game is like, okay, I'm gonna have both, the best of both worlds, ideally.
Yeah. I mean, I think I just purely, especially early on, like purely just PvP can be very toxic. They will just come to like quantity of groups and things, and they can probably find things to like exploit. But you're talking also, you were talking about like the drawbacks of excessively killing people too. So there just has to be like a good system or something about it. I think a balanced server with the Blood Moons and swapping for PvP to have a war still works. Just having a one server can be balanced.
Would there be any action against big dominandos taking over? I've talked about this. The way we're going to fix this is through democracy. We have a lot of plans for dealing with reports, right? So reports is going to be a cornerstone for moderation in the game. And whenever you're talking about people organizing harassment in a server, there needs to be some action in the sense that we need to look into what the community actually wants. If they're fine with this, or if they're not. If they're not, there needs to be some different ruling in that regard. And if they're fine, then there won't be. So it's like, would there be action? Maybe. If it happens and the server isn't cool with it, then yes. If it doesn't happen, then no, right? And if it does happen and the server is cool with it, they don't care, then no, there will be no action, right? So it's going to be democratic. It's going to be based on the old school players, what they think is the correct action and what needs to be done. Because honestly, this is one of the biggest issues in social MMORPGs that have open world like Apogea.
Yeah.
It's like, if a group of people decides to fuck with you, you have no other option other than quit. So you need to understand that it's a serious issue that needs to be treated in a very light way. Would you consider allowing stance changes for tank, warrior, DPS humor so the players can play solo group without the need for complete talent skill swaps? We can consider that. I think it's very clear that it's something that happens in the game that we didn't notice. I've been noticing this when playing myself. It's like, oh, I want to be a healer now because I just met some guy and we're going deep into the dungeon and like I need to heal him because he's gonna die. But I'm spec'd as a DPS mage. I guess having dual spec makes sense for group and solo play. And you have to be constantly skill swapping, right? Can we expect to see two-hand? Go ahead.
No, democracy just sounds fun if you can implement it into game too. Like you can vote for a major of a city or something. Like can actually implement like completely full roleplay aspects. Because I remember things like from Ultima Online, you could elect like a major of Vesper, Minnock, stuff like that, and they would just have the title.
Would there be path in the game cosmetics wise? Can you help pick items? Probably not. If I do add paths, they're not going to do anything. They're just going to be there. And if I do add them, they're going to be through in-game and not through the store, because I don't like paid cosmetics. I think they're lame. Do you intend on add smart cast at some point? Can we control follow attack? I already answered about control follow attack. No, I didn't. But yeah, I can add that. That's a client thing. And smart cast is also a client thing. So yes, I do plan on adding both of those. This is a quality of life. It's important that you add this into suggestions, because what I do, or what I like to do, is I like to look into all the suggestions and like I cross them. Oh, it's like 2 or 3 people who ask for the same exact thing. That means that feature is important, right? Because if I just do what everyone suggests, I'm never finishing the game. It's going to take me 1,000,000 years to finish the game. So I have to go through the suggestions, cross them with each other, and figure out which one of them makes sense to implement based on demand and based on the fact that it makes sense with the game. Can we expect in a way of lore quests, mysteries, legendary items, intricate backstory, secret areas, and the like be found by piecing together information from the world? Do you think it's possible to prevent data mining? Those are already in the game. They're already in the test. A lot of people found some of these things. They're like quests that you need to study the world in order to figure out what to do and how to even get the quest. And there's some other quests which was like really hard quests, like legendary item quests, that a lot of people figure out a little bit of these quests. Like they have some clues on what to do, but they haven't fully figured it out. An example of that, which is a quest that most people now already know that it exists, is the Pestilence Knight, which is the big boss, the big dungeon boss. That's a really hard quest to figure out. You have to read books and you have to understand what to do. And some players already figured it out, mainly Aches and Grief, who didn't play last test. But it's a quest that require you to read a lot of things. So yes, they're in the game. They're absolutely in the game.
There's a lot of things
about data mining, preventing data mining. We have done some actions regarding that, and it's much harder to data mine anything from the client right now. It's because of cryptography. Well, what was you gonna say, Aches?
What was I gonna say?
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's just the quest literally. So you can find so many relevant things from NPCs by talking gossip and things. They will tell you stuff that's relevant for the quest and send you to an NPC. And there's just a nice progressive way to like find things in the game, and I like it. There's a lot of secrets to unfold, as long as you know where to search, like books, NPCs. Just keep exploring, ask questions, look around corners.
What's your option to the idea that magic arrows could stop counting down when not in combat? That would not make any difference from just summoning normal arrows. That would be the same thing. So I don't want hoarding to happen. I don't want you to have 1,000 summoned arrows in your depot. I want magic arrows to be done in a whim, but they're not very good right now, so I need to structure them a little better. It's a little bit. How big would the map be on launch compared to Tibia 7.6? How many weapons would there be? Would there be some super rare items? How many people will be able to log in the same time on the server? There will be super rare items. Our ideal scenario is at around 1,000 players. That's probably going to be the queue size. So if it exceeds 1,000 players, you're going to go into a queue and you have to wait until someone logs out. How many weapons would there be? It's going to be a shit ton of weapons, dude. And how big the map is going to be? The map right now is, I think, it's a 50 by 50 chunk. I always do this calculation wrong, but let's do it together. It's a 50 by 50 chunk, and each chunk is 16 by 32 in height by 16.
Math?
So if each chunk is 16 by 32 by 16, that means that it's 16 times 32 times 16. That's 8,000 blocks. And then 50 times 50 is 2,500 times 8,000. So it's 20 million blocks. That's the size of the world.
Nice.
Like the entire world. Because Apogea works differently than Tibia. Tibia is a series of levels, right? When you go up and down a staircase in Tibia, your character gets teleported. You can't interact with the upper level, right? In Apogea, you can be on top of a tower, right? Let me just draw a little tower here.
The only way you can interact is like you can throw things a level up and below.
Yeah, you can be like here on top of a tower, and the monster can be like here, right? This is a goblin. Pretend this is a goblin. He's beautiful. And you can actually shoot him from up there, because all of the levels are seamless. And all of the caves are seamless too. So When you go in a cave, nothing really changes. What I do is I just get rid of the top tiles for you to see yourself in the cave. So everything is completely seamless. Everything is done in these chunk formats. So it's gonna be a big map, is what I'm trying to say. I probably have a picture here of the whole map. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, there it is. Let me pull it on Paint so you can see it. So the area that you played during the test, I don't know if you guys can see this, by the way.
I already expanded it and took my cam off.
All right, thanks. The area that you can play in Apogea right now is this, and it goes up into here, up into there. This is the sun skins right here, and then it closes off. This is the area you can play. This one right here.
So 1/3
So
kinda.
this is Basil, right? Right here. I'm gonna circle it with yellow, no, brown, no, black. That's Basil right there. That's the city, right? This is the castle. Look at the size. Memorize the size. Look at the size of the north. You see that?
Damn.
This is all closed. It's not open yet. All of this is still closed. We still have to add stuff here.
Lava?
See? It's gonna be a big map. It's gonna be pretty big.
Sheesh.
And it's gonna take a while to explore the whole thing. And it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, looking cool.
Yeah. All right.
I'm back.
Next question.
I had one actually.
Go ahead.
Will any of the content be gate kept by premium, like Tibia and RuneScape?
No content. Here's what premium does, right? Premium just gives you access to special servers. And the only difference between the normal servers and the special servers is it's probably going to be population, right? It's a social aspect. It's going to be a cleaner server, quote unquote. And we're going to give more support to those servers as well. It gives you access to special servers, and it allows you to buy all of the items on the store with gold. All of them. The character expansion, the depot upgrade, everything. The reason why we're doing this is because that's the correct way of playing Apogea. I don't want you to spend $500 respecking your character. I don't want you to spend $1 million buying a bunch of utility. What I want is for you to pay 10 every month so that we can continue developing the game. It becomes steady income for the company. If everyone pays $10, we're fine, we're good, you know? That's what I want. I'm not trying to do whale hunting. I'm not hunting for whales. I've been making games for 11 years. I know how to do aggressive monetization. I know how to create FOMO. I know how to make cosmetics that makes you like drool, and I know how to make aggressive mobile monetization where there's a 0.1% chance of you getting an ultra rare item if you spend just that $1 extra. I know how to do all these things. I'm not doing that because what I want is for you to just pay $10 and relax. Everything will be taken care of. Oh, I can't buy the item ad. It's too expensive. Send me a DM. I'll lower the price. I swear to God.
But
sorry.
are you gonna be
a little rant?
So, for example, when you buy them in game, will they be like an item so you can give out to people? For example, can you like trade it for an item? Can you give it to a friend?
No, you cannot.
No, okay.
Because I don't want that to happen.
Okay.
Because it would create a sort of pay to win market, right?
Yeah.
It's not the same exact thing.
No, but because you can buy them and you can get items for it in golden game, it kind of creates a pay to win.
Yeah, if I am playing the devil's advocate here, it's like it's not the exact same thing as paying to win because you don't know if you're going to be able to sell that item in the first place.
No, I mean it already has a static value, right, in the shop.
Yeah,
so.
But yeah, exactly. But then it's like not really because it's kind of like the value is like 500 gold or 1,000 gold, etc. So yeah. I just saw someone saying like global chat needs to be free. I disagree. I think global chat needs to be paid, but I do agree on the fact that we need more channels. We need another channel. We need like a help channel or something like that where it's like you want to go there to help noobs or something, because a lot of people ask a lot of questions in the chat.
Perhaps don't make the global thing pop up on the default chat. Just make it appear in the global. It will like blink and you can read it there. I think just it takes over so much of the chat, just people using global chat.
I love the way global chat is right now because it is paid. Okay. If it becomes free, like I have to remove it.
Yeah.
Right?
No, like I'm just saying, it hijacks your default chat box. Instead, you just keep it inside the global field. So right now it goes over into default. So if you're doing a quest, someone can just type their style message in global, and it will cover your default part of the text.
Yeah, I can add a toggle option to turn off global.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. That's a good quality of life. But I do agree that there needs to be some chat, some other chat, a party chat as well is a good thing to add. Actually, maybe just party chat would solve the global issue, right?
Yeah, party chat is a really good thing. Yeah.
Either way, there needs to be one more chat, and the chat needs to be some help kind of thing. I don't know, helping noobs. I remember this was a thing in old Tibia. It was how was it called? It was called something like that, right? Help chat. There was some community managers there. They were like, oh, you just have to go this way and that way. I think it was called help chat. Yeah.
Someone suggested that premium use should allow global chatting, a limit of global chat maybe every day or something, and then you can buy more. So you have 5 chat messages or 2 every day, and then if you want to expand on it, you can buy more. But otherwise, it's a premium feature. So it's not flooded. Yeah, I understand it's gonna be flooded if it's free to play and people are gonna spam it quite a lot.
Yeah. Is there a way you might do an early access and just let the creators and founders have some kind of server to play even on if it gets wiped? I was trying to do that, but then people got really angry, and it's understandable. I'm not saying they're wrong, by the way. I'm not saying they're wrong. I think that it's understandable because I'm creating a paywall. With every paywall, there's people who are not gonna pay and they're gonna be pissed.
I understand both sides. Just having one short for testers, whatever, a small one, minor details, tests, feedback, whatever. But you want to test with as many people as possible. That way, also you find more. You test your hardware. You get more feedback and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. Could you give us a backstory for how the game came to be? It's a passion project. Love to hear what led you to this place. So people let you know where you're coming from your design decisions. Yeah, sure. The game came to be from me playing Tibia 15, 16 years ago. I made an OT server when I was 13 years. No, wait. When I made Hokina's Land, I was 17, 18. I think I was 17 when I made that OT server. But I did make a few of those before that. It wasn't hard. What I did is I downloaded some free stuff from otland.net and just configured it to be my server, and that was that. Right? There wasn't any kind of customization. And then once I did go to game design school and I graduated, I started looking inside, what do I really want to play? Rather than there's two different things, right? When you're a game developer, there's a thing that goes what do I want to make versus what do I want to play? When you answered the second question honestly, you realize that it's not what people play nowadays. It's just not. Video games nowadays are watered down and they're boring as shit. Of course, there are exceptions out there.
Yeah, of course.
And they blow the fuck up whenever there's a game that's not like that. They really blow up, right? It's I don't know, I don't know. I'll give a random example, Binding of Isaac, right? When it came out, it was oh my fucking god, right?
Or Baldur's Gate.
Such a hard game. It's not made for kids, and it's insane. You just die and you get rage and you rage over, and that's the thing. When you answer that question honestly, you start to realize that there's a game that you really want to play, and it's such a big risk because if you do that and it doesn't sell because that's not what people play, look at what people are playing right now. Go on browse on Twitch and see what they're playing. They're not playing hardcore games. They're playing League of Legends. They're playing I don't know, Fortnite and things like that, Minecraft. These things are not hardcore. And if you do that and your game flops, which has happened to me multiple times, by the way, I've made games that flop that I spent years making. It feels like shit. You don't want to take that risk anymore. But eventually, you get to a point where you have nothing to lose and you have the resources to do what you really actually want. And that's where my design decision comes from. It comes from deep-seated frustration on the game industry and the fact that I just want to have a good game to play. And I also miss playing old school Tibia. That's it.
Yeah, I can just add to that. There's so many things. I've seen a lot of projects that are promising, but they get pushed out way too early. The early access is a fucking plague, you know. Paying for 4-day head start, early access, the code is fucking floppy. Like, I love the idea behind New World. I love the game. The profession system in that game was flawless. I spent so many hours just grinding the system, but everything else fell apart in then. There's no end game. It wasn't finished. It was better. They relaunched Fresh Servers a year later, but it still didn't have it. It's just such a sad thing what the business has become, or the industry rather. It has become a business.
Exactly. So, it's like we watched our favorite game die, right?
Yeah. Especially Tibia. Holy shit, man. Oh.
Yeah. It's like Tibia was like it was. I'm not gonna say it was perfect in the monetization, but it was so simple, right?
Yeah,
like,
Premium was fine.
Pay for premium, and now you can actually really play the game.
Yep.
And that's it. That was it. But then it's like, oh no, let's introduce XP boost. Let's introduce I forgot how it's called, where you'll have to like flip a bunch of cards until you get a monster bonus, so you can actually really hunt. Oh, let's add the fact that you can buy characters in the bazaar. Let's add the fact that now you have a prey system. Let's add this thing where it's like you have to like merge a bunch of items together, and there's like very specific spice and very specific items to craft. Like, Jesus Christ, man! Like, we need money that bad, really? Like, I don't understand. So it's frustrating, right? It's frustrating, and when you see a game that were like this thing that from your teenage years and from your the golden times of MMORPGs just become a money sucking machine, and it makes it so that you lose faith in games. That's just. I'll stop ranting before I get a lawsuit.
No, but the money-driven agenda is pretty disgusting. Like, I'm in the same line as you. Sure, people want to make money, but I like passion. I like be driven by accomplishments, being like proud of something. I think that's kind of what you want to do too. You want to create like a cool world that you once experienced before as a kid.
When you say good players get good outfits, does this game allow solo players to become good, or be mostly guild group focused? I want both. I'm not satisfied with just one of them. I want both. I want the guild group content to be different from solo content. Solo content is going to be one path that you have to take, and group content needs to be a different path that you have to take. And of course, if you play with a group, you're going to have clear advantages because it's a bunch of people against a weak monster. But at the same time, you're going to have less experience because XP sharing is not that great in Apogea. It's been a day one complaint, and I think it's almost on purpose, because I think group content is already very rewarded in the sense that you are able to explore most of what the game has to offer right away. And I need to reward solo content in a different way, and I think it is through experience. The top level players were playing solo. Am I correct? Look, Hazorko, Penny, you, Aches, you were playing solo. Were you playing a group?
I played some group content at the end, mostly. I played a lot with my real life friend. So duo, yeah.
So Hazorko was solo. I'm pretty sure Hazorko was solo. I'm pretty sure Penny was solo.
Yeah.
And they were top players. They were top level players. The reason is XP is still better if you play solo. So I want both worlds. I want solo players to have advantages in sense of XP, which is exactly how old Tibia worked. Old Tibia was exactly like this. Bubble, Sets a Gambler, Eternal Oblivion, you fucking name it. They were all solo. They were all solo. It's either two people, like a tank and a DPS, or solo, right? And the group people, the guild people, they were like, it was more, the reward was like items, right? It was gold, it was fortune. And it makes sense. You know, you're clearing a dungeon, you get the quest, it's gold. So it makes sense. All right, that's answered. Is sharing the map maker with the player base still happening? Yes. Some of the best mapping in Tibia was done in the early days by volunteers. Really? I didn't know that. I thought it was all Nightmare. Yeah, it's still in the plans. I was too busy with the game itself that I kind of set the editor aside for a little bit, but it's done. It's actually done. I can open it up and show you guys, but should I do that? Hang on. Let me see if I can do it. Streaming, change windows.
Hide the porn first.
Apogea editor, go live. Can you see it?
Yep, we're here.
Like it's a very simple editor. The way it works is like you have tiles, right? Everything is done in square meter, but it's 3D, right? So, but it has a lot of technical things that is not ready for the user yet. So I have to make it better in that sense. I have to refine it a little bit in the sense that you won't be too confused. So I have to make it more user friendly. That's it. That's all I have to do because it's done. We use this for development. Yeah, and it's pretty cool. It's actually a pretty cool editor. I spent a lot of time on it. I think I spent like a month or two developing this.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Let me change my display. Back to my beautiful drawing. Wait, where is it?
Oh, shit. Now I'm zooming in on your face. Look at Ed, everyone.
There you go. My beautiful drawing. Look at that, man.
Okay, I'm clicking. There we go. Apogea.
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 All right.
I had one, a quick one actually.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Are you gonna add an overlay map? So do you understand how it works in Diablo and Path of Exile? You can press shift and there's like an different transparent or opacity level on the map, and it's gonna be like centralized on your screen. So you basically expand map. It's like between minimap and a full map, you have like a overlay map on your screen in the middle.
Yeah, I understand. I played Diablo. I know what you're talking about. Yep. I don't have plans to do that. Like, who wants this?
There was at least two guys, and I think I've seen a couple of people ask me that before.
Like, I think
a couple.
I think the Diablo map is made for an action RPG.
Yeah,
if
yeah,
I were
yeah,
making an action RPG, I totally understand. Like, you gotta go fast. You don't want to explore the map carefully. You just want to go fast.
Yeah.
But Apogea isn't about going fast. It's an MMORPG. You're supposed to investigate things and look into little corners and look into little like details of the map and see if you can find secrets, because there's a lot. So I don't think that that's the case.
Perhaps you can just expand minimap a little bit or something. Just somehow. Maybe that's the play. I don't know. For me, it's not an issue. Oh, you can? Okay, I didn't know.
You can.
Cool.
I could be wrong, but please prove me wrong. Please make a big like text saying like, here's why you're wrong, and prove me wrong, because I really think that doesn't fit with the game. I remember reading this suggestion. I was like, I don't know. Will we see mage balancing early game? Probably not. I played mage. It was fine. Can you talk about how body clicking collision is going to be implemented in the game? You've mentioned in the past, and this will come in the form of spells. There'll be a different default setting for body blocking PvP servers as opposed to optional PvP. There's going to be two types of collision. The first one is a soft collision, which is, it's not going to be, you can't block people with that. But what's going to happen is people are not going to be completely inside of each other anymore. There's going to be some pushback towards two players. I want to do this because right now people are stacking on top of tiles and it's a little strange. So I just want to have a little soft collision happening there. The second one is, I want to add some sort of specific setting where collision happens. And I think it has to do something with PvP. Maybe after you cast an offensive spell, your character starts blocking a tile. Something like that. I still need to experiment with it, but that's the plan, at least. Have you thought about adding dual wield mini crossbows? Throwing axe, give range bit versus just using both. Yeah, I am going to add. I thought it was so funny, the idea of two tiny crossbows. That's kind of cool.
It is in some games, like two-hand crossbows. I think like Diablo 3, yes.
Yeah, I'm thinking about adding more ranged weapons, but I'm not entirely sure what it is yet. I want crossbow, but I'm not 100% sure. What's the most unexpected interesting metric data you guys collected during this test? To me, personally, it was the amount of rats you guys killed. You guys killed 1 million rats, dude. 1 million rats.
We don't like rats here.
1 million. 1
Bro,
million
they
rats
drop
died.
cheese. Cheese is good. You need food.
That's crazy. 1 million rats. Will there be promotion system like in Tibia to Elite Knight, Sorcerer, Master Sorcerer? Probably not. What we've seen is that the class system works. And it's just a bunch of numbers. And it's just like, oh, I multiply the stats and that's it. What we could do is we could make different kind of multipliers that are applied after you get one class. We could do that. I don't see the demand right now, but maybe in the future.
Would you add, this up on top of my head, will you add like regeneration on items? Mana regen giving items, HP regen? Like so you can stack it somehow.
Why did I not add that again? I don't remember.
Know.
Oh, life ring.
Oh yeah, because you can
Regen
up
ring,
the value of it, yeah.
I'll think about it. Think
but
about it.
We spoke about a little bit of rogue balance last night, and I think you can make stuff interesting with the Regen ring with that if you change that.
Yeah. No, for sure. I think runes need to fulfill that void right now, because I think runes need to add these special stats that are like missing from items. It's like, oh, I want to have +1 ability in this robe. It's like, okay, just chuck a rune in there, you know. And it also create like the way that guy phrased that question. I don't remember who he was. I apologize. Was like, will you fill the gap that the Forge has right now? And it's like, oh yeah, it does have a gap. He's right. When I was using the Forge, I was like, oh, this is too hard, right? I don't want to break my items. I want to get the only good 2 items that I have and like destroy them. That's stupid. So the runes kind of fix that. It fixed the fact that I want better stats, but I don't want to risk too much, because the Forge is more like a late game mechanic. It's like you get a backpack of items and you just melt all of them to try and get something good. So yeah, absolutely.
I want to sneak in a suggestion that I made yesterday. Well, I thought of it while making the dishes, so I had to run up and write it down. Different type of moon events. So I wrote, I think, Harvest Moon, Super Moon, Blue Moon, and giving different type of buffs during the moon. So one suggestion was like, you get a percentage chance of successful craft with one moon. The other one, you know. So I've written it down, so you can check it out later.
That's such a cool idea.
Yeah. I was cooking while I did the dishes.
Oh my god, man. Fucking game designer aches. That's cool as fuck.
Yeah, you can.
Like that.
I mean, we can talk about the creative director position later. Let's talk about the game first.
That's so cool. I like the idea. I really do. With such a great foundation to the game, what will you do now? Continue adding Tibia time content, or are you gonna pivot and add different things that Tibia couldn't or never did? I think I'm already doing that. Think about it for a second. Tibia is grid based. Apogea isn't grid based. You can move freely. Tibia has a lot of stand still and farm mechanics. Apogea doesn't have that. Doesn't have a single mechanic where you have to stand still and wait. Tibia has a lot of limitations in terms of graphics and different levels, right? Like, oh, if you're standing in this level, you can interact with the other level, etc. Apogea doesn't have that. It's completely seamless, right? The world is completely seamless and connected, and that includes all the levels. So I think I already do this. In my humble opinion, I think that I already improve a lot of points that I never really liked about old school games, which is, to add to my point, is the reason why I don't think Open Tibia servers work. And that's because they are relying too much on the old systems to carry their game. If you build your game on top of another game, you depend on the base game in order to create new content. So you're kind of stuck. You're stuck with those systems and the way they work. And if you're not extremely creative and you're not extremely good at a lot of things, then chances are you're going to make more of the same. Oh, instead of gold, now we use this other thing. It's like, okay, that's just the same thing. You just switched which kind of thing you're using. That's the way I see it. The way I see it is like, the reason why we can do this, the reason why we can improve on a lot of things that we're not good, is because we're really good at making video games. We've been doing it for a really long time. How intensive will your game be for more non-aggressive type players? Is the economy going to be riveting? Riveting. With the opportunities to make power and wealth without slaying any monster. Oh yeah, absolutely. Not to fucking press the same exact key over and over, but in old school Tibia it was like that, right? I remember there was a guy in my guild. He was in my guild, and we were part of the guild that won the war, so to speak, right? There was a war in Lucera, and we won. I wasn't part of the war. I joined after the war ended, and I was part of the guild that won, quote unquote. There was a guy in my guild who was level 13. If you don't know, level 13 is nothing in Tibia. Even in old school Tibia, it was nothing. It was like you can't do anything. But he was so incredibly wealthy. He had so much power. Whatever the fuck he said, whatever he typed in the guild chat was word. It was ruling. Like, he had so much power, and he commanded everything without a single level, without slaying monsters, without being strong. All he did all day was fishing and training. That's all he did, and he just commended the guild through the chat. So yeah, I do believe so. You can be no one, quote unquote, and still have power in Apogea. At least I think so.
I have a personal experience. So it was the fresh start of. It was a new server on Tibia. It was called Saphira. We were all low levels. I would think the general population was like everything from 12 to like 20. But we have a knight, our guild leader. He had a warhammer. He sat on larvas, like I think they were account sharing even. He was like level 38 or something, and we were supposed to. There was some fighting between another guild, so we had a peace meeting in the chess room in Thais. So he comes. I was in a Swedish guild, so he comes. He walks down into the room. We see him come down the stairs, and he says, "Go." And we just attacked, and it was just full on blood. People X-logging in corners. You have level 15s on Red Skull. It's just so great. It's so fun.
Holy shit, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I love playing the fresh service. Just the conflict sets.
I really miss that.
Yeah.
I when I was playing the test, the last test on Apogea, I saw a lot of things that I haven't seen in a really long time playing games. I saw a guy, and I kid you not, there was a guy in town that when he saw Penny walking by, he said, "Hey yo." And I legit wanted to cry. It was one of the coolest things I've seen in the test.
Yeah, but
he just saw a really powerful guy and was like, "Hey, yo, Penny."
Yeah, but I see it all the time too. People just point at me, with the shift left click, and I'm like, "Yo, what's up?"
Yeah, the shift click, yeah. But I saw a guy typing "Hail," and I was like, "There's no way, dude. How did this happen? This is incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
But I remember the same thing was in the World of Warcraft early on. Like, if someone came with a full biz set, like they farmed the hard dungeons and shit, you would just respect them. You're like, "Oh fuck, that looks so badass." Also wanna do that.
That was so cool. And there was a lot of people who were like, when I showed up in my GM and they didn't know who I was, right? They were like, "How did you get that outfit? Can you tell me? Can you explain to me the quest to get the outfit?" And I was like, "Oh, what? That's so cool. Wait a second." He just legit wants to know how to make the quest because he thinks the outfit's very cool. And I think these things are like, they emerge from a game that people take seriously, not from a game that they think is like just yet another attempt at making video games.
That's why I want people like, it's a social pit, but that's why I also want like drama wars and shit. Like, I want history. I want us to make history. There's gonna be people gonna remember this, like the wars we had or the fights, situations that happened. Like, have you seen the Antica like documentaries, like on Antica, like Tibia Antica?
Yeah, it's so cool.
They're so great. Like, there's so much history. Like, it's so fun to look, and it's so well produced as well.
When that documentary came out, we were like finishing the beta for Apogea, and I was like, I like this because if I'm gonna be honest, when I was developing the game, like almost 4 years ago, it felt like stupid. It felt really stupid. It felt very stupid, actually. When I was making the game, a lot of the developers were like, "You're making what again? Explain that to me again." I was like, "Yeah, it's based on this old game. It's called Tibia, and it's like kind of lame." And they weren't 100% on board because it does sound ridiculous when you explain to someone who's never played the game.
Yeah.
Right? They don't really understand. But then that documentary came out, the Antica video. That was a very cool video. Very cool video.
It was really
and I got a chance to talk with Arius War as well.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I talked to him and he told me a lot of stuff. He mostly ranted about politics, but he told me a lot of stuff about Tibia.
Like in-game politics?
Yeah, he's Canadian, so he was like he was ranting about a lot of like Justin Trudeau politics, and I don't know why.
I thought you meant like in-game politics.
No, like real world politics. It was really funny. Yeah, and that documentary, like, it lit up a hope that I had, that there was still people who wanted to play a game like this that we're describing. I probably wouldn't give a lot of effort in the project if it wasn't by the fact that I was like, I can feel that there's people like me out there. Like, I can feel that. If big things happen, example, big guild wars would have an effect in the game like in old Tibia days. At storybooks, etc., explaining the situation changed the world a bit. Oh yes. There's something that I might have told people before, but I'm very good at changing the map. I can change the map really fast. You guys must have seen this in the test. I was like, I just added a new area. Like it took me like a few hours. And I do have big plans to alter the world. A lot of plans. I like to wake up and change things. Expect that a lot. The world is going to be dynamic because I'm going to be constantly evolving and changing it. I have a bunch of questions.
Are we doing like 24-hour stream? Like, let's do
24-hour stream.
Yeah.
24-hour stream. Let's do it. No, look, there's like...
I'm fine for sitting here for a couple of hours. We can talk shit.
There's like 15 questions on Patreon, and there's... Let me see here in the chat.
Maybe I'll have a food break.
Yeah, there's like
intermission.
5. Like, we can answer all of them. Let's do it. Okay, yeah. Hang on tight. We'll do it.
So it's 19 exactly. Should we have 5 minutes break, piss, walk, stretch legs? Everyone's just been sitting here for a while. We'll take like a 5.
Yeah, that sounds good. Hey man, how's it going? Would this game be viable for busy people? Some days I may only have an hour to play. Some days I have none. Can I still enjoy myself in this game? Yeah, absolutely. I didn't play a lot during the tests. I played like 3 hours a day. It was fine. I got to level 14 or 15. I just did quests and I killed some monsters when I had free time because faith system really helps. It gives a lot of experience boost. We keep the release period in the second half of the year. I can't promise this, guys. I can't promise this. I'm sorry. Game development is hard, okay? It takes unexpected turns. Are you the only one developing the game? No, there are more people. There's like 5 people. There's 2 other artists. There's a 3D artist. There's a back-end programmer. His name is Bruno. And I'm definitely not alone, 100%. Pode mandar oi em português? Posso? E aí? E aí, pô? Beleza? 3 hours a day is like a dream for me. It sounds good. What the fuck, X? What the fuck, man? Yeah, it was pretty okay actually. I thought it was gonna be terrible the test, but it wasn't. We have a skill system like Tibia. No, we're not. I think people don't have time for this nowadays. Me included. There be a stamina to prevent people XP 24/7. There is already. It's called faith system, but it doesn't go below 80. I had a quick question about if you thought about adding clicking to the minimap. We added clicking on the big map, right? When you open the window. I'll see about the minimap.
Hello.
Welcome back, Aches.
Thank you. Did you miss me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
No, I asked if you missed me. Sorry.
Oh. Yeah, sure, man. I missed you. Every time I look at my face on the camera, I cringe.
Why?
You're so ugly, dude.
You're handsome, man.
No.
You've got a sturdy neck beard there. You're one of us.
One
of us.
How the fuck do I have a girlfriend, dog? It's a miracle.
Yeah, and she looks good too. What the fuck? We both have beautiful girlfriends.
Let's go.
Yes, we won in life. Why are we even making games? Why even bother? We have girlfriends. We should go out, touch grass.
Alright, Ember Flame asked, being touched upon somewhat, but do you believe in rewarding PvP? PvP leaderboard for kills, that sounds cool as fuck. I actually like that. Some sort of PvP vendor with rewards, a vendor that perhaps sells PvP related gear ammo. That sounds cool. I love the leaderboard idea. I really do.
Yeah, you can have kills and stuff. Yeah, top killer.
Yeah.
So I can actually give you something later. There's like things like that for an OTA play. Top killer, top fragger. But there's also like a guild system where you like count the frags. How many people from that guild have killed the people in the opposite. So it is just a frag score list, basically. A tracker.
It doesn't sound too hard. I'll have to check with Bruno. Are you planning on having a max level? I'd like to see no max level per PvE, but once you reach, say, level 50, your PvP is maxed for balancing reasons. That sounds interesting, actually, to have a sort of like soft cap for PvP damage. But we have to see. We have to look into how the game actually rolls out, right? Like, if we see too much of a disparity in PvP, then we need to take action. But I do believe that it's pretty balanced right now. The way the progression in Apogea works is the more you evolve, the less results you're gonna see because everything gets harder, right?
I mean, you have soft cap, like Jimao said. You have soft cap in skill or in trait 3. But I want to also point in like a PvP perspective there. You can kill high levels. You can trap them. You can have an M-wall line or whatever. You have to combo people down. Levels don't really matter if you have the numbers or the setup. So necessary like balancing that doesn't have to exist. People that are high level have more power by now.
Is there a plan to add more endgame quests that unlock new trading NPCs or regions to explore, similar to the webcap eyes quest? Hey, that's a spoiler. What are plans for the late game achievements and progression? It's a lot like that, how you just said, Tux. The more you go deeper into the game, the more you're gonna find big challenges like the webcam quest, that gives you this sense of owning to the place, right? I need to work more on the game, which is the problem. It's like the desert is supposed to have more features like that, and it doesn't because we rushed that place. So I have to go back there and like rework it and make it better. I'll do the same thing in the swamp. I'll expand the swamp to the east. I'll do the same to the north. We're at a village to the north. There's gonna be a bunch of quests and a bunch of things. There be a game API to integrate external tools with the data from the game. If there is, it's not gonna be from us. You guys can squirm around to try and do that. But ideally, we're only implementing things that we think is very cool into the game, and then external tools, like that's with you. A coding language, C#. There be an option to do server transfers. That's somewhat of a complicated subject because we don't know what kind of servers there's going to be yet. So we need to figure out exactly the servers that are online before we decide this. And then when you transfer servers, you're effectively doing a transfer of power. You're grabbing a powerful thing from one place and putting it into another. So we need to see how that plays out. If there is no real issue, or we see no real issue, and the community is fine with it, maybe we can add a world transfer.
Well, yeah. Will there be any I think we touched on it. Power abusing, like excessive player killing and excessive griefing.
Yeah, I already answered that. It's like it's gonna be
the
democratic.
Yeah.
Right. We're gonna do some voting. We're gonna investigate things.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be clear cut. The reason why it can't be clear cut because it's just like it devolves into a dictator style of
stuff like that are situational too, right? There might be context to it.
Yeah, there might be servers without it. There might be servers with it. So we have to investigate first before we take decisions. Hazorko asked, will you change that every monster can leap at a target without CD? It's shit for tanking and makes kiting so annoying. The jump mechanic was a solution that I implemented for different level cheesing, right? Because in the beginning, when Apogea was a child, you could go to a different level and attack a cave troll, and then the cave troll would just take the hits and die. And I was like, how do I fix this? How do I fix this? And I was like, what if the cave troll just jumped in your ass, right? So I added the jump mechanic. And then I was like, oh, this jump mechanic is actually kind of cool. So I added it into other monsters. So what I need to do is I need to have other mechanics, different mechanics that interact differently than just having the monster jump in your face. I need to have something different. For example, a monster that I really like, that is one of the best Apogea designed monsters, in my opinion, is the Conquest Fowler. Because he's a kiting mechanic that shoots a bunch of projectiles at you and then sometimes jumps into you. And it's such a challenging fight, and it's very rewarding when you kill him. So I want more things like that. I want more mechanics where you have to think about it and have different reactions to different monsters. I don't want every monster to be a monster that jumps in your face, even though it is right now. I'm planning to fix that. So the question is yes, I will change it. But I need to find the exact mechanic that will still work without allowing cheesing. Would there be time limited events like in Halloween, mobs drop candy, there's a unique rage boss champ you can check? Yes, we actually did some Christmas stuff, but I didn't have time to implement it. So next Christmas, you already know what's coming.
Ho ho ho.
We have Santa Plea coming for next Christmas.
Will he enter my house?
He's gonna enter your house, dog. Any plans to add hirelings like Tibia added them? Instead of having them set items in the house, take a cut of an item for the place for them to sell. Probably not. We do have plans to add more house decoration, and that could include things like an NPC that's in there and doing things in your house, and like more furniture, maybe the ability to add the tiles. Things like that. We do have plans to make houses better. But I don't know about systems that interact with the core gameplay. I think housing needs to be, like I said, a prestige thing. And I want to treat it as such. I want to treat it as a thing that's only a few players have, and that you have to invest a lot of in-game money on it, not real-world money, just in-game money. And if you can't afford that lifestyle, then housing is not for you. And if you miss something from housing as a regular player, then I have to satisfy that need by implementing more places and mechanics to fulfill that gap. Is it possible to implement a party loot distribution system that shares both golds and certain items among party members? This could help ensure fair loot distribution during group activities. It is definitely possible, and I do understand that it would make things easier, but I don't like it. The reason why I don't like it is because I think in parties there need to be a looter, and the looter is usually the tank. I like that dynamic because it makes it so that jobs are clearly defined. The tanks, knights, they lack a lot of action during group play, and allowing them to be the looter as well is kind of like a solution to that problem, right? It's a part of the solution, so to speak. They organize loot, they make sure that they can carry a lot of stuff, so they have to spec into carry, into
capacity and the scales. I mean, it makes sense too. That's kind of
So like in the party already tells you what he looted, so he doesn't steal from a service, so to speak, right? Even though I really wouldn't care about this, but Bruno implemented it, and I think that's kind of cool. So I don't plan on adding that. I think that makes sense in video game sense, but it doesn't make sense in Apogea sense, because I feel like the game needs defining roles, and the defining roles depend on this a little bit. It's like, here's what I'm basing myself on. Google right now on YouTube. No, don't Google, like search on YouTube, like Demon Hunt Tibia 7.4, right? Like the sorcerer is going to carry a shit ton of resources. In Apogea, it would be bots. And the knight's going to have like all this cap, all this free cap, like 1,000, 2,000 cap, just for carrying loot. That's what I want. I want that dynamic.
Or you want a loot bag and you gotta push it, but there involves risk.
Yeah.
Someone can come and snatch it from you.
Someone can snatch your loot bag, so it's risky. So I think this is working as intended. More systems is gonna actually make it worse, believe it or not. Any plans to add an aggro system, since most mobs change targets a lot, and since you can't spam taunt abilities since they cost too much? Until further information, I'm gonna assume that this is a skill issue, because here's the thing. Taunt locks the target on you for 2 seconds. If you taunt twice, or you spam taunt, like you don't know how to taunt, the creature will switch targets on purpose. It's gonna be like, why did you taunt me twice? And it's gonna search for a third target. If you have 2 tanks and they're spamming taunt, you're doing it wrong. You have to time the taunts. You have to do it properly. And if you're playing solo, you have to look into visual cues to make sure when to taunt. Taunting is a mechanic. It's a tank mechanic, and it's intended to be fine-tuned. Which is the same thing with, what's another name? Thrash, right? I added taunt to Thrash, which is like, oh, taunt isn't cooldown, just use Thrash. Any plans on adding collision-based items that you can throw into the map to block people? No, not really. Because I think, actually, I don't know. I don't know why I don't want to add that, but something tells me it's going to create a lot of bugs. I'm probably right. I'm probably right. But it's definitely something that old Tibia had. I don't like the flower pots mechanic in Tibia. I think it's kind of lame. I don't know if you guys disagree, but I think it's kind of lame. I used to like the what did they used to use in old Tibia? I don't remember. Was it a crate? We used to use something. I don't remember what it was.
Parcels?
Does anyone know in chat?
Or block? Oh yeah, pots.
Oh, pots.
Yeah.
Pots. Yeah. Pots. It were pots. It were not parcels. It were pots.
Yeah. You can block, but you need 2 parcels, and what you can do, you can put 2 parcels and then a 5 field on, and it's basically impossible to move unless you have a destroy field.
I do want to make items that do more than just be an item that you equip or put in your backpack. I want to make like things like trap. I think that's cool. I wanted to make a bomb, a literal bomb, like an item that you place on the ground and explodes. I wanted to make a banner, which is an item that when you place on the ground, it like buffs everyone around the item. Things like that. Maybe an item that blocks is a good idea in that sense, because I want that to be a secret 4th class, which is like a guy that carries a bunch of shit. It's a secret class. You're supposed to like spec it into in a secret way. we'll be able to choose the final skills / traits in the skill tree without going to the first ones. Like every 20 levels or so, we get a point that we can use anywhere in the tree or something like that. That's a great suggestion, honestly. What I wanted to do, and I already kind of did that sort of, which is like on the end of the skill tree, you have this extra point where it's like, do you wish to completely fuck up, just completely change the way you play the game? And I did that with Endowed Steel and Embrace Darkness, right? Which is it's a trait that completely flips over the way you play, right? Like Endowed Steel is like, okay, stop using weapons and shields, and Embrace Darkness is like, you cannot heal anymore and you cannot use light spells, which it changes the gameplay, but it gives you something else, right? So I do plan on doing that, which is like when you get to 24, you max out a skill a tree branch, and there's on 26 you have the option of doing this like crazy flip. And I really like that idea, because sometimes you just want to have some crazy build that no one else is doing. Knights lose so much XP that they need to tag every single mob to get XP, and often you have no damage. Are you telling me to buff Knights again? Ed, can you buff Knights? I can buff Knights, man. Any plans on the range? Support spells like MWall are slow right now. The range is so small. The point of catching experienced players by surprise non-existence. Yeah, sure. I can look into that. It's definitely, those are definitely high-end spells, right? It's like spells that not a lot of players use, so we don't have a lot of information on that, right? So maybe that is the case. It didn't seem like MWall was super short range, but let's look. I'll look into it. I'll see if that makes sense. Is it possible to implement a function of presets that you save your stats traits and you can quick swap the gene? Yeah, we talked about this. It is probably a good idea to add a secondary trait that you can swap at will, mainly because of like the group solo gameplay dynamic. That is a great idea, and we're probably looking to adding that so that it's the IAP costs are not too aggressive. Right? Allow players to send a macro check to a player every 30 minutes. If they don't reply within 2 minutes, the macro check being sent to. But that's an interesting idea. However, I do believe that Apogea is not going to be your average open Tibia server, because we're going to have an active moderation team. So if you report someone for botting, chances are we're going to spawn right next to him in a few minutes, just like I did in the tests. Like a lot of people were reporting bots, and I was there checking them. And they were not bots, by the way. They were just people playing in a really, really weird way. Super rare items are only looted once. You loot them once and they disappear from the server. That's it. We already programmed them. It's a box. It's a chest. It's a box. It's an item inside of something. You open it. You get the item, and it's gone. It was once. And then once I realized that people figured this out, I'm going there and I'm changing the quest. You plan to implement the climbing mechanics like Tibia, stacking parcels of boxes, climbing on objects, and how about speed boost when you have free capacity? I really like the idea of allowing you to interfere with physics in the game, but I really need to think of the effects of that, because there's a lot of places in Apogea that are built in a very specific way to allow the map to be interesting. So if I just say like, oh, you can climb this spot, it's like, shit, like that's gonna break so much. Yeah, it's gonna break so many places, right? Can you add the ability to kiss the NPC homies goodnight? Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Oh shit, now we're talking. Best suggestion tonight. Are you done with
I already answered this before. I'm gonna answer it again. XP sharing group it's bad on purpose. I don't know how to say that other word. Purposively. It's bad on purpose. I want solo play to be stronger in the sense of experience, of getting experience. I want the solo guys to level up a little bit faster than the group guys, because the group play needs to be, oh, I want to do a quest really hard. There's a really strong monster. Can we group up and kill the monster? That's it. That's the group content that I want. I don't want group content where everyone is like every day grinding the same spot. Like you can do that, that's fine. But I think solo play shines a bit more in that aspect in Apogea. That's at least the way I see it.
I mean, group play also, like, it becomes gradually easier. I mean, group play is the safe way, so it should be like the safe, cheaper way to progress.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, exactly.
While solo
like,
can be harder, or program, like, at some aspects it will be harder. Like a lot of content is hard solo, and it's a good trade-off.
The way I see it is like group play needs to be exploring, quests and helping. Solo play is like grinding and secrets. That's how I see it. Am I wrong?
Like secrets too, I usually trade info as well. You do it alone, but you like get into a wall and you can start discussing like what you know and what the other person knows. That's kind of what we did.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like, oh, I'm gonna do group play to grind, but it's like eventually it gets tiresome. So you just go, yeah, I'll see you guys later, and then you just grind on yourself because it's just
put on some music and fucking go.
We had a peak of 600 players, sort of.
700, wasn't it?
Yeah, 600.
Oh yeah, but bro, you were 7 off. It was 700. Let's round it up like you do in game. Just round it up. It was 700.
Please raise the range of the map click. Right now it offers very little benefit. I can look into that, Jamal. Imagine MMO where it feels bad to play with friends. I don't think it's gonna feel bad to play with friends. I think that group content is going to feel more like, okay, let's do something daring that we don't usually do. Because if you just do the same exact thing over and over with your friends, it's not gonna be too different than doing it alone. So it's not gonna feel worth it. It's not that it's like, oh, I give you a debuff if you have friends. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like, it's gonna be kind of the same thing, but it's gonna be a little more tiresome because there's a bunch of people, right? You have to like be on a call or something, and they have to like take care of each other. But solo play is gonna feel more meditative, so to speak. And group content's like, let's do something different. Let's go explore this place. Let's go do a quest. Let's go do this. So it's gonna be fun on both ends. I want both worlds. I think we can have both worlds. Why do a healer class? So your friends don't die.
Yeah, healer is actually good. I have some VODs. I played it. It feels good. Makes it some hunts very economically friendly, and I've saved lives, so it's pretty good. You just need the traits.
You need the traits. You do need the traits, yes. I think some spawn zones should be designed to group play where you need to group classes and organize. Yeah, I agree. That's how we're structuring it right now. Some places are like designed for groups, some places are designed for solo. We create a web page with information about spells? No. Any visual indicators on equipped gear that is higher quality? That's a good idea. Maybe have a little check on stats, right? What about Gamemasters? Gamemasters are... Here's what I'm doing. Like I've received messages before about becoming a community manager, becoming a game master. The way if you want to become one and you want to help the community, the way you do this is by being active. It's not by asking. Like Aches and Ghost and Zai and many others on Discord are super active. They're like people who are always there and talking shit and like joking around and answering questions and always in sync with the idea of the game. I rarely like invite people to be part of the development unless they match our vibe, right? That needs to happen. Loot message on party chat so that the whole party knows what you looted. That's already in the game, Jamal. Also, you should make like a feedback post if you haven't. It really seems like you have a lot of feedback. Any chance to implement quests that have consequences in the world to everyone? Oh yeah, absolutely.
Dynamic quest. Yeah, that's a really cool idea. I've thought about that before for my game.
there is a quest right now in the game that not many people can access, but it doesn't do anything. It's like if you talk to the king, like, do you have any quests for me? And the king is gonna tell you, well, I have a quest for you. You're willing to hear? And you go, yeah. And he goes, well, just kill as many orcs as you can. That's it. It doesn't pop in your quest log. It doesn't give you a direction. It's just like, just kill as many orcs as you can. And the reason why I added that quest is because things are going to happen if you don't do that. There's a reason why we're counting how many creatures have died, right? There's a reason.
Huh?
If you don't kill enough orcs, things will happen.
Shit, alright. Looking for group.
Yeah, and it's planned. It's all part of the plan.
Bro, the Battle of the Bridge? Do you remember? I remember.
Oh shit. Wait, he knows lore.
Pepper Ridge Farms, remember?
Wait, you know lore?
What do you mean? I was 1 key away from full key slot before. 4 months.
Have you thought about doing Rookgaard, where after reaching the appropriate level, you choose a class? I have thought about making Rookgaard, but here's the funny thing. When we designed Apogea, here's what we did. We were like, what is the minimum viable product of Tibia? And the way we see it is like, it's Rookgaard. If you really think about it, like put your thinking hat on. Apogea is kind of Rookgaard. You start the game, you use a really low weapon. Are you pointing to your poop hat?
I'm thinking about shit, bro. I'm cooking. I'm cooking shit here.
We were like, Apogea is Rookgaard, if you think about it hard enough. I love Rookgaard. I love that place. It was amazing. It was so incredibly balanced. And then if you just expand it, just make it bigger, right? You just say, what if Rookgaard was like bigger and longer and better? That's the game.
Do you remember the Spike Sword quest too? Or
the Spike Sword quest.
So there wasn't a quest, but there was. You can see it from like the beach or whatever you call it by the water. You see an island with a Spike Sword surrounded. So that was like a cool. It's kind of what you've done by the cave troll, you know. You have like different items right there. So it's kind of like
I have
that.
to change that, by the way. I put a better sword there.
I've seen the Pesty sword there. Have you put the great sword there?
It was a long sword, I think.
There's been a stone one too, right?
Yes.
It has different items there every time.
Let me read this guy's question. Torchy TV. Hi there. I joined as soon as the game was about to finish playtest. Small question. Are there any thoughts on making the new player experience easier/faster? No, but there are a lot of feedback that you guys have given us that I agree with, because the way I see it is like there is a tutorial and you don't see the tutorial because it doesn't feel like a tutorial, but there is one. So what's happening right now is the content that teaches you how to play the game is not well done to the point where I force, quote unquote, you to understand everything. I kind of let you loose. So I'm going to make a few changes. It's not going to be a lot, but I'm going to make a few changes to ensure that you understand the basic mechanics of the game as you're playing. For example, I changed so that if you don't open your bag, there's going to be a fucking UI blinking forever in your screen until you learn how to open your bag. So I'm going to do things kind of like that now for some things, right? Like when you open an NPC dialogue and you need to confirm a text, and you need to type in yes, because not many people know that. I'm going to make that shit blink forever until you say yes. Whoa, why did you change the thing?
Okay, I had to show the art.
If Apogea is Rookgaard, where's the Minotaur mage? It's coming.
There was a question about Beastiary that was kind of expanded on. Did you answer anything on that? You didn't, right?
Answer what? Sorry.
So they're asking if you have any plans on adding a Beastiary. So you have a catalog of all monsters where you fill a bar, like you kill a certain amount, and there might be some buff or some reward for it.
That sounds cool, actually. I do plan on adding a completionist thing, where it's like it keeps tracks of all of the keys that you've got, all of the quests that you've made, all of the monsters that you've killed. This kind of information, like, oh, you have traded 16 out of 24 possible items with Edmund, or you have completed 24 out of 155 total quests, you know. Mm-hmm. You have found 35 out of 250 chests in the world. Things like that. I do plan on adding that.
That's kind of also probably one of the feedbacks that Lazy Peon had, like visual progression thing.
What the monetization system will the game have? Free to play, pay to play, subscription based. It's free to play. There is a cash shop. The cash shop sells utility. So you can expand your depot. You can expand your character slots. You can reset your skills. You can reset your stats. You can buy a global chat thing to use. You can buy like things like that. That's what the cash shop sells utility. And then if you pay for a subscription, which is allowed in the game, all of these items in the cash shop can be bought with gold. Are you considering making so that new content is accessible to a wide range of players, while a portion of said zones also feature the hardest challenges in the game, like Desert Dungeon, North Dungeon, etc., or keep the parts of the map still accessible to low, mid levels? That's a really good question. Here's my plan for dungeons. It's going to be levels, different levels for different dungeons. Of course, the loot is going to be different, and some dungeons are actually can be done solo. This is why I like so much the Pestilence dungeons, because the Pestilence dungeon scales to the amount of people that's in there. If you go with 20 people there, you guys are going to die, going to get wiped. But if you go with 4, you can do it. And that's the general idea. The general idea is like there's going to be different dungeons for different types of gameplay and different level ranges. So yes, I do plan on adding dungeons that are accessible for more people and not for the hardcore end game people only. there be a maximum level in the game? No, it's indefinite level. But here's the thing. Level scales inversely to the amount of experience you've got. So I don't know if I said that right, but the way it works is like the more you level, the harder it gets. So there's a soft cap. I don't know what number it is, but it's probably going to be something around 100. When you get to level 100, it's going to be like impossible to get to 101. This is the feedback that I really love how caves go like rats scabbing troll. You're welcome, dude. You're welcome. I love that. I love my troll traps. They feel so good.
I made a meme with Ed. It's trying to deal with the camera behind the jam doors.
That meme with the Cristiano Ronaldo was 10 out of 10, dude. Thank you. The game would be on Android or iOS. Probably not right now. We're not gonna launch with iOS or Android. We have climatic change like rain and snow. Yes. How many people minimum for a viable server? I said 1,000. That's the maximum. Yeah. But ideally, for a server to work, I've noticed that for the map we have open, it's something like 50. That's pretty healthy. It's actually pretty healthy to have like around 50 people on a server, because there's a lot of points of interest in the map, right? The depot, the Basil depot is a point of interest. The caravan is a point of interest. The swamp witch is a point of interest. Because these points exist, a lot of people concentrate there and it doesn't feel empty, right? It's only when you start going off-road where things feel very empty. When there was 500 players online, it felt like every single corner of...
Oh, Ed? Shit, Ed, hello? Uh-oh, is it me? Is it Ed? Who is it? Hello? Hello? Oh, drum roll.
Hey,
I'm in the browser. I don't know why the client is not working. What the fuck? That's some weird shit.
That was really funny.
You gotta pay the internet, bro.
I'm on the browser now. I thought it was Ed. I was like, yeah, Brazilian internet, not reliable. Alright.
So let's just finish it here. It sounds like good timing, actually.
Any ending words?
I have some ending words. I want to thank everyone. Thank you guys for being awesome, dude. It's like the tests were incredible. It's really like I was not expecting people to make YouTube videos talking this well about the game. I have not expected anyone to care about a game inspired by old school Tibia, and it's been a surprise. I want to register this here for everyone forever. I'm gonna make a good game. I'm not gonna be greedy. I'm not gonna make any pay to win shit. And we're gonna have a good game thanks to you guys. And let's do this. Let's do this together. I also ask everyone to be very patient. Please be patient. We're gonna get there. The game is gonna be done, I promise. But we need patience.
We just gotta work on the Bitcoin miners.
Yeah, I gotta implement that Bitcoin miner in the client.
Yeah, that's how we make the money.
So thank you guys for all of that, and please keep an eye on Discord. Please. It's where I like to post things. I post a bunch of stuff there. I read all your comments. I read every single suggestion. It may not seem like it, but I read everything and I take everything into consideration. I want to make this work, and I don't expect a lot in return. I really don't. It's just because I want to make a really good game, and I want to create a community that I've been watching slowly dying, and it's very sad. So I wanna bring that back up.
You plan any like updates, like weekly, bi-weekly, like just by the progress? Maybe people want stuff like that, or will you use it?
Yeah, this is gonna be challenging for me, and it's gonna be challenging for a lot of you guys, because I want you, Aches, and I want the Ace team. I've seen you guys in chat, by the way, Ace. Thanks for being here. I want the Ace team. I want Cataroid. I want all the people who have been helping us promote the game to help me with teasers. Right? We're gonna give you guys the tools, and we're gonna make it so that you guys can satisfy the community urge to play the game. I think that's possible. I think it's possible. And that's it. You guys have any words to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Are those words, aren't those just noises, or do they have some meaning behind it?
Again.
10 out of 10, dude.
It's play sounds.
Awesome. It's the Goblina.
Oh, Goblina. Oh shit. All right, waifu.
What is this? What is this image this guy's spamming here? What does it say?
It's about the bans.
Why not ban cheaters? I actually look. This is a good question. No, let's not pile on this guy. Look, the reason why I didn't ban the cheaters is because I teleported right next to them. Because here's the thing: we have a system in the server and in the client that can detect cheaters, right? So the cheaters were detected, and I teleported right next to them, and I was like, "Hey, you're cheating, man! Can you stop?" 7 people caught cheating, and instead you're banned for racism. I detected cheaters, and I went right next to them. Was like, "Hey, man, you're cheating!" Blah blah blah. You know, like, what the fuck? Do you like Polish sausage? I guess.
I guess.
And they were like, "Oh yeah, I am cheating. Do you want me to tell you what I'm doing?" I was like, "Yeah." And then they sent me everything. They were like, "Oh, there's a security breach here. There's a security breach there. You can do this. You can do that. You can encrypt this. You should definitely encrypt this thing." And I was like, "Oh, cool." Right. And they were like helping us. They were helping us with security stuff. And then the other 4 people that were banned, they weren't cheaters. They were just spamming racist shit in the game. So we just banned them. It was a playtest, exactly. They weren't really gaining anything. They were actually helping us. So if they were like, "Yeah, I'm cheating. What are you gonna do about it?" Then I'm gonna ban them. You know. But that wasn't what happened. They were like, "Oh, I would send you everything. I'm using this program, I'm doing this, I'm trying to hack this," and it didn't work. And then like a lot of them didn't work. They couldn't really hack the game because a lot of things are secured. I hope that answers the question. You don't have to get angry. Bragging about that isn't a good look.
Obviously on launch,
right,
if people will be caught cheating, then there will be
Oh
repercussions.
my god,
Of course
I explained everything, whatever. If you're helping out fighting cheats, then maybe add no in advance. Yeah, that is the problem. Like, they didn't tell me in advance, but they did tell me. I don't see a problem with that at all. All right, guys. Well, this was really good. X, do you wanna finish the stream? It's your stream. I really apologize for talking nonstop for 20 minutes. Of course not.
The whole purpose of the was just to talk and answer questions, right? It's a Q&A. Nah, can you stand it?
I really appreciate you hosting me. You were a great host. I loved your introduction. It was a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I went.
It was really good, man.
2 hours before the stream, I went into the forest and found a good stick, you know.
It was so good, man. It was 10 out of 10. I loved it. Yeah, it was really nice. Let's do this again. Yeah, and then maybe we'll have something to show then.
Yeah. I'll just make an outro when we're done here and start working on the VOD, I guess. All right.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Ghost and Sire too. Even though you were quiet, you were very active in the chat.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. I'll catch you guys on the Discord.
All right. Goodbye. See you.
Bye. All right. That's it. I hope you guys got a lot of questions answered, and hope this was informative. I'll do the last roleplay. With the power of Christ, I compel you to follow and subscribe. Until the next time, have a good one. I will see you in the dungeons. Bye.